Welcome back, everybody, to another dicondissectional production hosted by Deathstroke9. Today we're going to be reacting to Gordon Lightfoot, the Canadian Railroad Trilogy. Hello, if you're new to the channel, my name is Daniel, aka Deathstroke9, and today we're going to be reacting to a Gordon Lightfoot song. Every single Gordon Lightfoot song I've heard so far has been great. I've loved them all. Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and what was the other one? Is it called If You Could Read My Mind? Let me see really fast. Let me look it up and make sure that I know what I'm talking about. If you could read my mind. If you could read my mind. Is that a Gordon Lightfoot song? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. I'm almost positive is the other one that I really liked, but I've liked every one that I've heard by him. I think Sundown was another one. Anyway, all right. But yeah, this was another highly requested song, and it's like 7 minutes long. I always like the longer songs, so I'm excited to check this out. It's off the album Gord's Gold. Gordon Lightfoot, Canadian Railroad Trilogy. Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
There was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild, majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Long before the white man and long before the wheel, when the green, dark forest was too silent to be real. But time has no beginnings and history has no bounds. As to this verdant country they came from all around. They sailed upon her waterways and they walked the forest tall, built the mines, the mills and the factories for the good of us all. And when the young man's fancy had turned into the spring, the railroad men grew restless for to hear the hammers ring. Their minds were overflowing with the visions of their day, with many a fortune won and lost and many a debt to pay. For they looked in the future and what did they see? They saw an iron road running from the sea to the sea, bringing the goods to a young growing land, all up from the seaboards and into their hands. Look away, said they, across this mighty land, from the eastern shore to the western strand.
I love his storytelling style. Always will. It's just awesome. Yeah. Also, lyrics to this one so far have been very interesting. I really like the layered guitars. I like the strings and the bass. I like everything. I also have noticed that his voice is pretty unconventional, the way that he's singing. I always appreciate that, I like that as well. Let's keep going.
Bring the workers and bring up the rails. We gotta lay down the tracks and tear up the trails. Open your heart, let the lifeblood flow. Gotta get on our way, 'cause we're moving too slow. Bring in the workers and bring up the rails. We gotta lay down the tracks and tear up the trails. Open your heart, let the lifeblood flow. Gotta get on our way, 'cause we're moving too slow. Get on our way, 'cause we're moving too slow.
Wow. Now there's that restlessness.
Behind blue Rockies, the sun is declining. The stars, they come stealing at the close of the day. Across the wide prairie, our sleeping beyond the dark oceans in a place far away. We are the navvies who work upon the railway, swinging our hammers in the bright blazing sun, living on stew and drinking bad whiskey.
One last note, or one more note, is that his the singing and the music slow down when the pace of whatever progress he's describing slows down. You know, like it's going fast when he's describing, you know, we're building out, we envision a railroad across the across the country, but now he's just describing the regular working man's time, you know, and it's like a slow slogging thing, and you can almost feel the sun beating down on our backs as we're, you know, it's interesting. Let's keep going.
Bending our backs till the long days are done.
As I was saying,
we are the navvies who work upon the railway, swinging our hammers in the bright blazing sun, laying down track and building the bridges, bending our backs till the railroad is done. So over the mountains and over the plains, into the Muskeg and into the rain,
feel it picking up now.
up the St. Lawrence all the way to Gaspé,
Following
swinging our hammers and drawing up pay, driving them in and tying them down, away to the bunkhouse and into the town. $1 a day and a place for my head, a drink to the living, a toast to the dead. Oh, the song of the future has been sung. Oh, the battles have been won. On the mountain tops we stand. Oh, the world at our command. We have opened up the soil with our teardrops and our toil. For there was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Long before the white man and long before the wheel, when the green dark forest was too silent to be real, when the green dark forest was too silent to be real, and many are the dead men too silent
wow.
to be real.
Wow. No. Oh my God. Okay. Many are the dead men too silent. It's about the cost. It's not only, it's about like, so before nature was doing just fine, but then we're like, things aren't moving fast enough. We're going to progress. And then the progression made us, you know, die and stuff. Yeah. Wow. Kind of negative, but also not actually. There are other things like this that are a lot more like, I don't know. They're a little bit different, you know. They're more of the mind of we're gonna be as environmental and like as guilt trippy as we possibly can be, and like call out all of humanity for all of, you know, for destroying the planet. Which, you know, I'm not gonna deny that humanity's definitely been doing that, But at the same time, this song is a lot more like realistic in that it's like, so here's what it was before. Here's the reason, we were ambitious. We wanted to, make progress. They were kind of short-sighted, but they thought they had the future in their hands. And then it also talks about the cost, I don't know. It's interesting. All right, let's take a look at the lyrics. This song is about, yeah, there you go. This song is about the progress of man and the cost man paid for it. The Canadian Broadcasting Company commissioned Lightfoot to write the song for their TV special on the building of the Canadian Pacific Railway. Oh, wow. I can totally see this song being in like the background of something like that. That's interesting. There was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild majestic mountains stood alone against the sun, long before the white man and long before the wheel, when the green dark forest was too silent to be real. And I love how the motif of something being too silent to be real is repeated later when we talk about the men who have been left behind. It's crazy and sad. When the dark green forest, but time has no beginnings and history has no bounds. As to this verdant country, they came from all around. They sailed upon her waterways and walked the forest tall, built the mines, mills, and factories for the good of us all. In the years preceding the construction of the railroad, economic interests began to spring up, creating a demand for a transcontinental railroad. By the time this song was written, the Canadian Pacific Railway had existed for everyone's memory. Until the railroad, the inner parts of Canada were nearly uninhabited. This line refers to the time before Canada was colonized. Before the white man means before the British settlers, who were the first of the Europeans to inhabit Canada. Before this, Canada was just populated by the indigenous peoples. When the young man's fancy was turning to the spring, the railroad men grew restless to hear the hammers ring. Their minds were overflowing with the visions of their day, and many a fortune won and lost, and many a debt to pay. Businessmen and politicians saw the need and profit potential for a railroad across Canada. There were many lives lost and many fortunes won and lost before it was complete. Lots of restating the line thingies. All right. They looked in the future, and what did they see? They saw an iron road running from sea to sea, bringing the goods to a young growing land, all up through the seaports and into their hands. Whether seen as nation building or as greed running unchecked, those with vision and courage risked life, limb, and financial ruin to build it. Yeah. I like it feels very, I don't know. This song gives me the feeling that I feel when I'm learning about history, Like there's like a little bit of like longing. There's some wishing that things had been done differently. There's also like a bit of a feeling of this is our heritage, These men, broke their backs to industrialize the globe, or Canada, you know what I mean. There's lots of things that happen in history that can't be proud of. There's other things that you could be. You also got to do stuff with the time that you have, Make your own mark on history and make sure, you're on the right side of history. Hopefully. Continuing. Look away, said they, across this mighty land, from eastern shore to western strand. Bring in the workers, build up the rails. We got to lay down the tracks and tear up the trails. Open her heart, let the lifeblood flow. We got to get on our way. We're moving too slow. Like I said before, that's the ambition talking. Bring in the workers. Did I just read that? Oh, yeah, he repeats himself. Okay. Beyond the blue Rockies, the sun is declining. The stars, they come stealing at the close of the day. Across the wide prairie, our loved ones are sleeping. Beyond the dark oceans, in a place far away. So they're thinking back to the people across the, Oh, this line may refer to the Chinese laborers who came to Canada to work on the railway. Many of them left their families to work in Canada. They lie sleeping across the oceans back home. Interesting. See, I did not know that. Learn something new every day. We are the navies who work upon the railway. So then that's when it slows down. We are the navies. Work upon the railway. swinging our hammers in the bright blazing sun, living on stew and drinking bad whiskey, bending our backs till the long days are done. We are the navvies who work upon the railway, swinging our hammers in the bright blazing sun, laying down tracks and building the bridges, bending our backs till the railroad is done. The Canadian Pacific Railway was built using little more than picks and shovels. The scale of the project was enormous, and completion was uncertain at the outset. It's estimated over 600 workers died in its construction. That's awful. It says that this person says that a lot of the people who died were mostly Chinese immigrants, which is also horrible and also interesting. Kind of weird that it was majority. I don't know. All right, over the mountains, over the plains, into the muskeg, and into the rain. What is that? Let's look it up. A North American swamp or bog consisting of a mixture of water and partly dead vegetation, frequently covered by a layer of some type of moss. All right. Up the St. Lawrence all the way to Gasp. I may be pronouncing that wrong. Swinging our hammers and drawing our pay, driving them in and tying them down, away to the bunkhouse and into the town, $1 a day, a place for my head, a drink to the living, a toast to the dead. Oh, the song of the future has been sung. All the battles have been won on the mountain. So it's like this is the ecstatic completion of the project, but then the end is like the looking back and trying to honor those who fell, and also regretting your actions a bit. So the song of the future has been sung. All of the battles have been won. On the mountain tops we stand. At the world, our command. We have all the world at our command. We have opened up the soil with our teardrops and our toil. For there was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Long before the white man and long before the wheel, the green dark forest was too silent to be real. When the green dark forest was too silent to be real, and many are the dead men. Then everyone's like, oh wait, too silent to be real. And I love the silence there, adds such weight to that final line. All right, awesome song. That is Canadian Railroad Trilogy by Gordon Lightfoot. Thank you to all the people who requested this. I'll see you guys soon. We are Legion. Consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Deathstroke 9, out. Spazzing a bit here. I don't know why.